Feasibility means that you are looking into something. You are not going into a feasibility study with foregone conclusions.
You're not going to get the money from the state again.
Be quiet.
You're not going
We
to
have
get the money.
$500,000, which is more than anybody else has had before this. Okay?
And you're not going to get your donors by
Shut up
coming
and
back.
sit down.
By coming back.
As part of the next 10 to 12 months going forward, while we do our feasibility study, we've taken the $500,000 from the state of New York, and we've been able to retain the services of a wonderful architectural and design team, engineering team, public outreach teams from Hester Street Collaborative. Some of their members are here tonight. And they're going to spend the next 10 to 12 months doing a study to try and figure out the best ways that this space can use and whether it's feasible to even do what we envision. First thing I want to say is nothing's being built tomorrow, right? Nothing changes tomorrow or next week. There's a process, and there's a process we want everybody who lives along the QueensWay to be involved in. Because whether or not you agree with me tonight, one day, if this happens, we want it to be part of all of our neighborhoods. And so the best way to make it part of all of our neighborhoods is to make sure that everybody has a say in the process.
Can I just say something real quick? Basically tonight was basically your group trying to get volunteers that are for the Greenway before we have a voice in that we're opposed to the Greenway. Am I right? But you're going to give us a date when we'll have a forum where we can actually express many things. So basically, we really weren't invited tonight. This is not a meet and greet. I thought it was a meet and greet.
So let me say a couple things on that. So I'm Travis Terry. I'm also the Friends of QueensWay. The purpose of tonight was to invite people.
Now, I've heard this presented many times, even on community board now. I've heard a lot of, oh, we're just presenting it, we're going to get input. But in the past few years when I've heard this, and it's had a ton of community input against it, all I've heard is the same thing over. We're presenting it, we're eventually going to take input. Years have passed since this idea came to mind. And I'm still waiting for that input and anybody to come and ask, how do we feel? I understand we all live in. You have multiple community boards. Why hasn't this first come to community board vote before you even let it go to this level? That's right. This hasn't come to never ever a referendum.
You know that CV9 has multiple resolutions supporting the Queens.
You're wrong.
We are not.
I've been on 11 years.
Excuse me.
I passed a resolution. You might have missed that meeting too.
Neil and Nick, I haven't missed resolution in 5 months. Excuse me. I think we had said that we're not here to debate. If you folks want to have dinner, we are going to continue with our meeting, which is what we planned, and these people were all invited and signed up to come to our meet and greet.
Andrea, I was invited to a meet and greet. I was invited. I have an email at home.
I'd like to speak.
You know?
Here's a volunteer. I'd like to speak.
Stand up and speak. Stand up and speak.
Hi, I've been a long time. I've been here all my whole life. My mother grew up on 101st Avenue, and I now live in Richmond Hill, and Forest Park is around the corner from me.
Not by the green.
So I use the Parkway daily, the Forest Park daily, and I reap the benefits. My son reaps the benefits. My daughter reaps the benefits. Unfortunately, just recently, there was a horrendous crime.
That's right,
yes. Which actually,
Beat out our backyards.
please let me speak. Since I remember, horrendous crimes have been happening in Forest Park. But guess
That's right.
what? We didn't shut down Forest Park, and we didn't say, let's make something else here. We kept going. To the day I die, I'll be going into that park. I would not believe it if I did not see it. Who cares for it? Let me go back there.
You must have some business.
Whatever. It's what you're planning to do is
Notice that they're ignoring all the businesses.
And I can assure you,
They're ignoring you guys
each and every one of your backyards is going to look excellent. And
It's not in that car. That's it, but your backyard is there.
It's our backyard. It's our backyard.
I see people trying to fight.
It's our backyard.
Walking dogs and throwing bottles in my yard.
The shitholes you're talking about look that way because the city doesn't have the money to take care of it now. Is everybody give them another 55 acres not to take care of?
Okay, look.
That's what
Look at the whole area.
Neil, we're going to talk about, this is,
I don't want to be insulted. And nobody that's my backyard is nobody that's
So it's not your backyard.
ladies and gentlemen,
Everybody
It
wait.
is my backyard, and the railroad is clear.
this is unproductive, it's not productive for your position or ours.
Excuse me. We would like to be able.
How about we leave, Andrea? Everybody who lives on 98th Street, if we leave, we can have a nice meeting.
The specific reason
I've been
why.
told, Andrea told me,
So the fact
I've
that
been told
100
me that
studies have
this
shown that
thing,
all of your property
Well,
values
I've
are going to
got
go
one that
up,
says that
you're
there
going to
was-
convince them to follow your lead, Mr. Pike.
and what I'm gonna tell you is this,
Disagree.
the study I'm talking
Be
about
honest to
is
your own
buried,
people at
and
least.
every study he talks about, my study is buried in
He
a
has
footnote.
one study, we have 100 studies.
Someone on our team has spoken to the woman who did that study. And all she said is that those comments are taken out of context.
No. What she said, no. We actually spoke to her, I spoke to her after Mark did.
We read it.
I read it.
Not right.
I read it, I gave it out to CB9.
Excuse me, I'd like to speak, okay? Does anybody understand the definition of feasibility?
Who are you?
Okay?
Who are you?
What we have got,
Is it
I'm a
you,
member of
Pat?
the
Is it
steering
a friend of
committee,
Mr.
my name is Mimi Tab. I was born and raised in Forest Hills, I've lived there my entire life. Okay? Feasibility.
Well, then she must be
Excuse
important.
me, feasibility means that you are looking into something. You are not going into a feasibility study with foregone conclusions.
You're not gonna get the money from
Be
the state
quiet.
again.
Be quiet.
You're not
We
gonna get
have
the money.
$500,000, which is more than anybody else has had before this, okay?
And
We
you're
don't
not
do
going to do
it.
your donuts by
Shut up
coming
and
back.
sit down.
By coming back.
That's a nice attitude.
You decided to follow.
I got a few words I'd like to exchange.
So guys, everybody, guys, hold on. Guys, hold on. So let's talk about people who do live here. I'm a member from the board. Our meeting is every second Tuesday of the month. Why don't all you guys show up to the community board meeting and voice your opinion there? So therefore, it's a community board meeting. I for one will make a motion for a resolution against this community board and whatever community board members there. You guys should all come to speak on this meeting. I'm community board not community board meeting second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday, we have tomorrow.
You know what we're having at this moment? You know what the meeting is this moment?
Fairfield Pavilion. Fairfield Pavilion on 101.
Fairfield Pavilion, right?